seniors. You might be used to hearing us at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, but we moved to 12 noon. The Time for Seniors is your local senior resource show, bringing you all the important information concerning seniors. We talk health, financials, medical, keep you updated on current scams, hear inspirational stories, and laugh at ourselves a little. So tune in Saturdays at noon on FM 104.5 and AM 9. Voice of the Federal.
5 minutes back. 104.5 AM 950. Next segment, bottom of the hour, sports ball. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a bit. Time. Hard to tell. Oh, good morning. I cut myself shaving, so I've got like blood. I just took the toilet paper off my face. I realized I was walking down the street and had a thing of toilet paper on my face to stop the bleeding, and never took it off. So I said, hello. This guy's walking past me. I'm like, hey, good morning. He's looking at me like, oh, hello. All right. Today is the 28th. Meddler's meeting. Carol Metzger. Buying real estate.
The U.S. congressional delegation met Taiwan's
All right.
on Monday in a show of support days after China helped. That must come under its control by force if necessary. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCall told NBC News lawmakers visited the island despite China warning them against it. Because we support Taiwan, freedom and democracy against dictatorships like the one that's very close to where we're sitting right now. With the People's Republic of China, very aggressive, as you saw, sending a letter warning me not to come here.
Are we sports? Are we good? We got our scores up there.
China policy, and then you saw the armada of ships and airplanes, one of the largest ones we've seen surrounding the island.
Off now to practice the news. I can just practice the news right here.
They would do in the event of a war, all because of democracy. It's like a military exercise game. Protest democracy.
And here's your KAHI news for this Tuesday, May 28th. I'm Chris Quant. Man arrested after El Dorado deputies say he pointed a gun at a Highway 50 gas station. Says he pointed a gun at Highway 50 gas station customer. This is from the Sacramento Bee. 69-year-old man who allegedly pointed a loaded shotgun at a customer inside an El Dorado County gas station Saturday was arrested by deputies after a brief standoff. According to the sheriff's office, the man entered the Chevron station on the 7700 block of Highway 50 in Fresh Pond around 4 p.m. and, quote, pointed a loaded shotgun at one of the customers, unquote. The customer was Justin Witten, who told the Sacramento Bee that was in the store. That customer was Justin Witten, who told the Sacramento Bee that was in the store stocking up on camping supplies, ice, snacks, and energy drinks before a trip with his family. After getting the snacks and the drinks, Witten headed towards the store's camping and outdoor section and saw an older man with long grayish white hair who was squatting down with his back turned. The man turned to Witten, he said, with sweat pouring down his face. Witten said he asked the man if he was okay. Without saying a word, the man pulled out a shotgun, pumped it, and pointed it directly at Witten's face, with his wife standing next to him. Witten said he was terrified for his life, staring down the barrel of the black and silver firearm. Quote, once we realized what was happening, I grabbed her and we ran to the left to get to the other side of the wall where the cashier and people are, unquote. Witten said, quote, I am no longer in his direct line of fire, and I start screaming for everyone to get out of the store. This guy's got a gun, everybody out, and I just kept screaming and repeating, I hold the door, and everybody runs out, and we all split back to cover, unquote. Witten said there were 8 or 9 people in the gas station when the gunman made his move. Quote, all of the employees and customers were able to quickly and safely leave the store without being harmed, unquote, the sheriff's office said in a social media post. Quote, law enforcement quickly arrived at the gas station and established contact with the suspect inside. who eventually exited the store and surrendered peacefully to law enforcement, unquote. No injuries were reported. Deputies identified the man as a resident of Fresh Pond, which is just east of Pollock Pines, and booked him into jail in Placerville. Back with more news after this. And continuing now with your KAHI news from the Morning Brew, here's a stat for you. If you enjoyed a hot dog yesterday, your barbecue was probably fun, but not original. Oh, I need to go edit this. All right.
This is a really telling story. So he played. He'll be first to admit that college wasn't very good for him. He didn't work out great. But he spent one semester at Wake Forest. He played for Jerry Haas. Jerry Haas coached. He coached Bill, coached Webb Simpson, coached Zach Torres, among many others. And I got to talk to Jerry a handful of years ago. I was at their practice facility the week of the Wyndham Championship at Wake Forest. I was talking to Jerry. He said, I had Bill come through here, Webb, a lot of his most talented players I've ever set foot on this campus. I only got to keep for one semester, and it was great to learn. And just that, Grayson put that time on display this year. It was really, really fun to see. Just to know that he's not going to be doing that anymore. I think it's a huge loss for all of us in the PJ Tour. It's a huge loss for our fans. It's a huge loss for in a time like this, we realize that as much as we want to beat each other, as much as we want to be competitive, we really are. We want to be fair, and we lost today, and that's terrible.
PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan said he spoke with Murray's parents about halting play at Colonial, said they insisted that all tournament continue. Murray said a year ago, everybody has their battles. Sometimes people are able to hide them and function, and sometimes you're not. I think our society now is getting better about accepting that it's okay not to be okay. And embrace that mentality. I'm really ashamed that I go through depression and anxiety. Turning to the economy now, the Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller says it's possible that a key underlying interest rate that influences monetary policy may rise in the future after years of declines, but it's too soon to say. Waller's warning that the U.S. fiscal path will put upward pressure on the neutral rate. This speech at the rate of an economic conference in Iceland. A key factor in that decline has been the Treasury bonds. Deficit spending has been increasing since the 1990s. I believe the factors increasing demand that I just reviewed have outstripped the increase in supply over the past few decades.
And finally, also from the Morning Brew today, the word of the
If the
day
growth in supply of U.S. Treasuries begins to outstrip demand, this will mean lower prices and higher yields, which will put upward pressure on all of our stock. It is probably not news to many people that the U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. The latest outlook from the Congressional Budget Office paints a challenging picture of the future, with debt expected to grow at an unprecedentedly high rate for an economy at full employment and not involved in a major war. All of these financing pressures may contribute to a rise in our stock in coming years. But only time will tell how large a factor the U.S. fiscal position will be affecting our stock. Looking ahead, as a policymaker, it's important to understand what is driving any movement in our stock.
All right.
Justify using it to guide my policy.
The quintuplets, the Dione? The quintuplets were born too. Which made them wars of the crown type. Identical quintuplet girls. Wow. I'm Dr. Mitch.
If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available.
Okay, who are we going to shout out? Rockland.
Helping you feel good, and enjoy total wellness. With your
octane rating heat. I'm on an in the car. Your automotive prescription right after this. Increase fuel
Extreme.
7.9% with Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and
Okay.
whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter,
Oh.
Gasoline Extreme is specially
Nice that
formulated
didn't
with
start.
DEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving
Hmm,
experience.
did a
Upgrade
thing.
to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme
Powered
and go
by
first on each
science.
tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret.
Powered by science.
Today's modern vehicle, whether it's a car, SUV, or light truck, is designed with a specific fuel in mind. Read your owner's manual. What octane rating does the vehicle manufacturer call for? That's what you should use. But there are exceptions to the rule. Many high-end or luxury vehicles call for premium or higher octane fuel. And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel system cleaners in premium fuels. Gasoline companies know too that vehicles that run on premium won't perform as well with carbon deposits. So they pack more cleaning power into their premium fuels than their regular blend. If you rotate your fuel choices around, say, every third tank full, you may find better performance and miles per gallon because you are cleaning your engine and fuel system while you drive. Just don't tell your mechanic you're trying to replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Ananian in the Car Doctor. See you next time.
And good Tuesday morning to you. Tuesday, May 28th, 30 minutes past the top of the hour, right smack dab at the bottom of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Rockland. Currently 56 degrees where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 86 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get into it. We're going to start in the NBA. Yeah, basketball is still happening. I thought the same thing too. I'm like, are we still in basketball season? But we are. It's the eastern side of the country. It's the finals. Celtics versus the Pacers. Celtics win that one just barely, but they win it 105-102. That's game 4. Boston wins that series. They sweep it, as they would say, 4-0. They are headed on to the NBA finals. So it's slowly but surely the NBA season is coming to a close here. Heading over to the major leagues, Giants versus the Phillies. Yes, Mike Yastrzemski. Oh, that was my fault for even trying that. Yastrzemski, there we go. Ropes a 2-run double in the second inning. Giants on top there, 8-4. A's did not play yesterday. Yesterday was a travel day. A's will be back on KAHI today. It's going to be away. They're going to start an away series versus the Tampa Bay Rays. So we're going to have the radio start time today at 3:10 p.m. 3:50 is the game start time. Radio start time here is 3:10 this afternoon. So we got a afternoon game today for the A's versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Marlins versus the Padres. Padres on top there, 2-1. Astros versus the Mariners. Mariners win that one, 3-2. And let's see what we got here. Nationals versus the Braves. Nationals up there, 8-4. And let's do one more just for grins and giggles here. Royals versus the Twins. Twins just squeak out a win there, 6-5. Heading over to Formula One. That's right. The race happened on Sunday. The Monaco Grand Prix. One of the most famous races in the world, Monaco Grand Prix. And congratulations to Charles Leclerc. The Monegasque won his home race finally after several years of heartbreak and disappointment. Charles Leclerc from Ferrari takes the number 1 spot at the Monaco Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri McLaren takes number 2. Carlos Sainz, Ferrari number 3. It's a Ferrari 1 and 3 on the podium. Lando Norris from McLaren, number 4 from McLaren. George Russell, Mercedes, took number 5. Max Verstappen, the normal winner from Red Bull, came in number 6. Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes, number 7. Yuki Tsunoda from RB Red Bull, number 8. Alexander Albon from Williams. Williams got a point in the points, number 9. And Pierre Gasly from Alpine, Alpine's first points of the season, comes in at number 10. Back with more right after this.
The Wildlife Care Association offers adventure, challenge, and satisfaction when you volunteer to care for injured birds and small animals. The nonprofit group is offering classes now for volunteers to assist Mother Nature in returning wildlife to our communities. Visit wildlifecareassociation.com or call 916-965-WILD and get your adventure going.
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today. Temperatures right around 80. And a south wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. Maybe in the low 50s overnight, mostly clear. The dry, sunny weather is going to last into Wednesday and Thursday. You'll be averaging in the low to mid 80s each night.
Forgot my water today.
And it'll be up near 90
It's a bummer.
by Friday with mostly sunny skies. This is meteorologist Tim Rick from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Do you suffer from stomach issues? Shop at Sunrise
Yes.
Natural Foods. This month, all New Chapter products are 30% off, including New Chapter probiotics. Probiotics provide beneficial bacteria in your gut while eliminating harmful bacteria, which makes for healthy digestion, reducing symptoms like bloating and stomach discomfort. Visit Sunrise Natural Foods today in Auburn and Roseville or at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
34 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:34 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to have your California Ag Report. We'll also have your local events happening, what's going on in our area. And in the 7 o'clock hour, we've got the Meddlers meeting, as we do on Tuesdays. Haven't run it the last couple of Tuesdays because, well, sorry about that, folks. I've been gone the last couple of Tuesdays, but we'll get back into the Meddlers meeting, see who our special guest speaker is today. Always looking forward to that. And then in the 8 o'clock hour, that's right, we've got your Tuesday trainer tip. Brad from CAC Fit is giving us some tips on how we can stay in shape, stay healthy as we go about our days. So thank you, Brad, for putting that together. We'll have our Tuesday trainer tip. This is the actual first time we'll actually get it on a Tuesday. Last week we had it on a Thursday, but we'll get it today in the 8 o'clock hour, your Tuesday trainer tip. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a bit.
An emergency closed meeting for Tuesday afternoon on the situation in Rafah at the request of Algeria. The Biden administration-
I know why that felt longer than normal.
Though it is opposed to a major-
Because I forgot to set my countdown timer to the right time. I did it 5 minutes instead of 4. Whoops. That's why I felt like I had so much time.
Are you clear on what the red line is here?
Well, what we know is that there's a humanitarian disaster unfolding right now in and around Rafah. We've not been able to get in significant shipments of humanitarian aid, and so no matter how many people are dying from Israeli military operations, there are people dying every single day from inability to access food and medicine. This is ultimately accruing to the benefit, not the detriment, of terrorist recruitment. And that's my big worry here. There's a moral cost to the number of civilians that are dying inside of Gaza. But when you continue to withhold food and aid from the people, that ultimately makes these terrorist causes stronger, not just in Israel, but around the world. Our own intelligence experts have told us that this is having a generational impact on terrorism. And so for many of us that want Israel to bring this military operation to a close and focus on the future political settlement inside Gaza, it is in part because we worry that this is a terrorism groups growing all around the world.
Right. But the National Security Advisor was suggesting there that the line hasn't been crossed yet.
Well,
looking at whether there's a lot of death and destruction. There already is a heck of a lot of death and destruction.
Yes, which is why I am amongst many of my colleagues who have called on Israel to pause military operations to try to get this humanitarian nightmare under control, and to take the time to come up with a realistic solution for what Gaza looks like after the fighting stops. What you've seen in the past few weeks is that as Israel clears out of certain areas like northern Gaza, Hamas is just filling back in because there is no viable plan for governance. Israel has to take the time to both be less cavalier about the humanitarian costs, but also come up with a plan for what Gaza looks like after the fighting stops. And the fighting is going to stop.
Murphy insisted that the U.S. built here to try to bring aid to starving Palestinians was not a mistake, despite its early failures so far.
Listen, I think there'll be some rough moments in the early going of trying to get this pier operational. But you are absolutely right. Whether it's the airdrops or the deliveries on the pier, there's nothing that the United States can do that will substitute for the decision by Israel to open up crossings, to stop using these checkpoints as a means to interrupt the flow of vital goods. Israel has to make a commitment to solve the humanitarian crisis inside Gaza. The United States is not going to be able to do that for Israel.
The U.S. National Security Council said in a statement that the devastating images from the strike on Rafah were heartbreaking. It said the United States was working with the Israeli military and others to assess what happened. Shares advanced in Europe and Asia ahead of Monday's Memorial Day holiday in the United States. Oil prices also rose.
On Friday, the S&P 500 gained 0.7%, running back all of its losses from the prior 2 days. Tiny gain for the week, extending its weekly winning streak to 5, sitting just below its record set on Tuesday. Worries about stubbornly high inflation were behind last week's rocky trading after recent records. The weakness began after the Fed Reserve on Wednesday released minutes from its latest policy meeting that showed some officials talking about possibly raising rates if inflation worsens. Stocks fell further on Thursday, indicating the U.S. economy stronger than expected. Such strength can actually spook Wall Street because it could keep upward pressure on inflation. Turning to sports this morning, Derek White's tie-breaking three-pointer with 43 seconds left gave Boston the lead, and the Celtics closed out a 4-game sweep of the Indiana Pacers 105-102 Monday night to reach the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years. White finished with 16 points. Jaylen Brown led Boston with 29, while Jason Tatum added 26 points, 13 boards, and 8 assists to help erase a 9-point second-half deficit. Boston swept the Pacers after rallying from a 3-0 deficit in last year's conference finals to force a 7th game. Brown said he was legitimately surprised by the conference finals MVP honor.
I wasn't expecting that at all. I've never won sports, so I was just happy that we won. I give credit to Indiana. They played us tough. I know, people think that Indiana wasn't a good team or whatever the case may be. I mean, I thought they were as tough as anybody we played all season. They were physical. They were fast. They put a lot of pressure on us. So shout out to them and respect to them.
People talk about going in this year, who would kind of be the vocal leader on this team. It looked like you kind of embraced that throughout, kind of motivating teammates, speaking your mind. How did you feel like you took another step there this year and showed comfort in that area?
Yeah, we had some guys leave, so I wanted to make sure that that void was filled. Marcus Smart, one of my brothers, that got traded. He was one of the voices of our team, and when he wasn't here, I wanted to make sure I stepped in and make sure that everybody felt me and everybody knew what the standard was. And we didn't skip no steps all season. I think we played the right way every single game. I held everybody accountable. And this is the byproduct.
Andrew Nembhard had 24 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds in a losing effort for Indiana. Pacers coach Rick Carlisle had promised his team would fight hard to extend their season, but in the end, they weren't ready to move on.
Our guys never wavered competitively one inch or millimeter or anything like that. We played at a great level, and we made our share of mistakes like tonight. We gambled probably 5 times in the second half. That led to at least 10 points for them. And those are discipline type things that you have to learn in this kind of environment. You swing and miss and they get a 3, you swing and miss, they get a layup. And it's just, and then if you're unable to match at the other end, it makes it very, very difficult, and then the momentum shifts. And so, those are some of the lessons. Those are strategic things and discipline.
The Celtics will play the winner of the Dallas-Minnesota series. The Mavericks are up 3-0 and have a chance to win the series this evening. Jason Robertson completed his first career playoff hat trick midway through the third period, and the Dallas Stars defeated the Edmonton Oilers 5-3 Monday night to take a 2-1 lead in the NHL's Western Conference Final. Wyatt Johnston also scored for Dallas.
Caught knocked down by Fogle. Set back out of the zone. Sagan with hits. Roque hits. Back around for Father Sagan. Hits lets it go through. Roberts as well. And then Liddell breaks a stick on the shot attempt. Stars and a hat trick. And a 4-3 lead. Off the face-off. Stars clear towards the empty end. The Stars take a 5-3 lead with a minute 52 remaining.
Kenny Albert with the call on TNT. His advantage in the victory and owned the league's best regular season road. 6-1 in these playoffs away from American Airlines Center. Game 4 of the best of 7 series is Wednesday night. And Bill Walton, who was never in life only in part because of his nearly 7-foot frame, was a 2-time champion at UCLA, a 2-time champion in the NBA, a basketball Hall of Famer, and an on-court icon in every sense of the word. Off the court, Walton was adhered to no conventional norms and took great joy in that. He's serious about the causes that mattered most to him. Bill Walton died Monday at the age of 71 after a prolonged fight with cancer. The league announcing Monday on the Commissioner Adam Silver called Bill Walton truly one of a kind. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. More on the way this Tuesday morning. You're listening to America's First News. All the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or police. At a time when America's
hi.
protection of police
Got plans to eat hamburgers today? I don't know. Should we?
More chaos by playing power.
Should have plans to eat hamburgers today.
Elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left. You're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important players in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help
All right, here we go.
local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free support your local police. Dial 800-JBS-USA1. That's 800-JBS-USA1. Support your local police info pack by calling.
Who are we going to shout out? Meta Vista? And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, May 28th. It is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Meadow Vista. Currently 56 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Very nice, balmy 80 degrees out there. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. It is the Party in the Park. Chris, that sounds like a fantastic time. When is it? Well, I'll tell you when it's going to be. It's going to be June 21st. Chris, I work during the week. Is that a weekday? Is that a weekend? I don't know when June 21st is. Well, let me tell you. That's going to be a Friday. Fantastic. Chris, what else you got? Well, there's going to be live music. There's going to be a food court. There's going to be craft beer. There's going to be a kid zone. I think the kid zone and the craft beer zone are going to be separate. Let's not run those two together there. So live music, food court, kid zone, and there's also going to be craft beer there. Chris, I'm in. It's on a Friday. I don't have to work the next day. That's great. There's a party in the park. I'm there. I just got to know where I need to show up. Well, let me tell you where to show up. It's a Regional Park here in Auburn at 3770 Richardson Drive. You can find out more at partyinthepark.net. That's Party, in case you don't know how to spell party, inthepark.net. Again, family fun starts at 5 p.m. Live music, it says about 6 p.m. So let's just say musicians. Am I right? Yeah, they get in there. They'll set up. They got a tune. They got to get the drums. They got to get the snare sounding just right. So family fun starts at 5 p.m. Live music at 6 p.m. Free to attend, by the way. It is free to attend. Again, Party in the Park, Friday, June 21st at Regional Park in Auburn. Family fun starts at 5 p.m. Live music at 6 p.m. Check it out. Back with your California Ag Report right after this. That was a fun read.
Join me for the KAHI Swap Shop this Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. The KAHI Swap Shop. This and every Sunday morning starting at 8 here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and KAHI.com. The voice of the foothill.
Oh, what do you say now? It's a nice day now. Why you do? California Ag Report's going to go long.
It's time for California today on the Ag Information Network.
Oh, well.
I am Haley Schiff.
I am Haley Schiff.
Often on the planning side of agricultural events, I can tell you with 100% conviction that there is never a great time for everyone in which to hold any sorts of gathering. It's with this in mind that we are now so thankful to be able to lean on technology. And that is exactly what's taking place in the world of California strawberries. Videos are now available from the California Strawberry Commission's production research meeting that was held in Santa Maria earlier this month. More than 80 industry members gathered for that event, where the commission, its university partners, and guest speakers presented updates on current research underway, as well as the commission's top research priorities for 2025. That new bank of videos includes a regulatory update from the Santa Barbara County Agricultural Commissioner, as well as recorded sessions with highlights on the latest research in pathology, entomology, weed science, and production automation.
So there you go, internet or data service and some sort of a screen, and you too will be getting a French road to all of that information. You can get the details at californiastrawberries.com. I've got a link to that on our website, aginfo.net.
You've probably been told that to reach a millennial farmer, you have to go digital. Facebook, Vimeo, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and online publication, or maybe a podcast. Oh, and how receptive is this age group to your sales pitch during non-work social time? Maybe the best place to reach a farmer with a farming solution message is when they are, quite frankly, farming. You know, it's easy for us to find them during the day, as most farmers are behind the wheel of a pickup truck or farm equipment with the radio on, listening to this station, the Ag Information Network of the West News. If you'd like to deliver information about your terrific product or service, give us a call and we'll connect you directly with our community of loyal farmer listeners. Reach real farmers right here, right now, as they listen to what is important to their farm operation. They trust us, they'll trust you.
This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. Find more agricultural news at aginfo.net.
11 minutes to the top of the hour. Coming up in our next segment. Well, our next segment is the next hour, 7 a.m. We're going to have the Meddlers meeting as we do on Tuesdays. We'll tune into that, find out who our guest speaker is for today. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll have our Tuesday trainer tip of the day. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in a bit. Got plans to eat hamburgers today? Well, we should. If we don't. All right, I need to find some water. I forgot mine. Left it right on the counter before I left today. Oh, well. Oh, well. Reset that timer. Check my text messages. Let's see here.
After more than 4 weeks of testimony, the summations of TFO momentous and historically unprecedented task for the jury presidential
Ooh, we could barbecue. That could be a thing. Have to dust that sucker off. It's been a hot minute. Get it? Hot minute. Okay. Oh, gotta finish editing the news.
Early season heat wave, setting records from South Texas to Florida. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who declared a state of emergency, said at a Monday news conference 5 people passed away in his state and that have suffered the loss of a loved one less than 24 hours ago that are hurting. Again, so far we believe at least a few tornadoes touched down, including the one that we know is on the ground at least 40 miles. That tornado just barely missed the prison in Eddyville. Currently, over 174,586 customers are without power. You can see that live here in the EOC. But crews are working around the clock to make sure power is restored. Thus far, 14 counties and 5 cities have declared a state of emergency. Last night, I also declared a state of emergency for the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. 7 deaths were reported in Cook County, Texas, near the Oklahoma border. That's where a tornado Saturday night plowed through a rural area near a mobile home park. Governor Greg Abbott. As we report on this devastating tragedy, Texans across the state are saddened by the tragic loss of life for the storms that have now claimed at least 7 lives. There's no information that there's more than that we found deceased, but we know at least 7 have lost their lives. Another, at least about 100 people have been injured. It's hard to tell with certainty right now on that number, but based upon those who have already reported, as well as information from local officials, we estimate there being close to 100 people who were injured. More than 200 homes and structures were listed as destroyed. Another more than 120 were listed as damaged. I'll be shocked if those
those numbers are not increased, but as further assessments are made. And right behind us is a gas station which is now going to fire across the country.
Storms also killed 2 people and destroyed homes in Oklahoma, where the injured included guests at an outdoor wedding. Tens of thousands were without power across the region. Iran has further increased its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels, according to a report on Monday by the United Nations nuclear watchdog, the latest in Tehran's attempt to steadily exert pressure on the international community. Iran is seeking to have economic sanctions imposed over the country's controversial nuclear program lifted in exchange for slowing the program down. The program, as all matters of the state in Iran, are under the guidance of Iran's supreme leader. The likely change in the wake of last week's helicopter crash that killed Iran's president and former minister. President Joe Biden on Monday urged the nation to remember the sacrifice of hundreds of thousands of men and women who gave their lives bound by a common commitment as he honored fallen soldiers during Memorial Day remarks at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. Biden marked Memorial Day with a pledge that the country would continue the work of the nation's fallen toward creating a more perfect union.
We gather at this sacred place, this solemn moment, to remember, to honor the sacrifice of the hundreds of thousands of women and men who give their lives to this nation. Each one, literally a link in the chain of honor, especially back to our founding days. Our democracy is more than just a system of government. It's the very soul of America. It's how we've been able to constantly adapt through the centuries. It's why we've always emerged from every challenge stronger than we went in. It's how we come together as one nation, united. And just as our fallen heroes have kept the ultimate faith with our country and our democracy, we must keep faith with them. Today, we join that faith with gratitude. Gratitude to our fallen heroes. Gratitude to the families left behind. And gratitude to the brave souls who continue to uphold the flame of liberty all across our country and around the world. Because of them, all of them, we stand here today.
The president noted that this year marked the 9th anniversary of the death of his son, Beau Biden, an Iraq war veteran who died of brain cancer in late May of 2015. Biden signed a promise to address Comprehensive Toxics Act, or HAP Act, into law in 2022. With the goal of quickly getting benefits to veterans who were suffering from illnesses that didn't qualify for treatment by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Americans who spent Memorial Day scouting sales online and in stores may have found more reasons to celebrate the return of warmer weather. Major retailers are stepping up discounts, opening their wallets. Target, Walmart, and other chains, some permanent, others temporary, with the stated aim of giving their customers.
All right, time to find what the Meddler's Leading is doing today.
Easing this year, but not enough for consumers who are struggling to pay for basic necessities as well as rent and car insurance. The latest quarterly reports by
Rent and car insurance, you got it.
Underscore that consumers haven't stopped spending, but multiple CEOs, including the heads of McDonald's, Starbucks, and home improvement retailer Home Depot, have observed that people are becoming more price conscious and choosy. Delaying purchases, too, focusing on store brands compared to typically more expensive national brands, and looking for deals. The Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller says it's possible that a key underlying interest rate that influences monetary policy may rise in the future after years of declines, but it's too soon to say. Waller's warned that the U.S.
The growth in the supply of U.S. treasuries.
All right, still got 2 more minutes.
I went on there and I. I'm trying to get all my later products. I haven't been with them. I haven't. I mean, that's not also, but students get it correct. Pretty much that. I don't know much about it. So that'd be right up. Yeah. Anyway, not many. Everybody. Now I can forget. I love anyway.
Power of the island's newly inaugurated president. Thousands of people gather to protest.
On the mountain.
This thing, I don't know if that does. This is the I'm a busy mood. Where's that on that? Oh, it's pretty sad.
One, 2, 3, 8. Sir.
So how long?
Oh.
I'm so sorry to hear that. You really helped us out in several ways. That was what we put
Good morning, how are you? Good.
It's time to go. Good morning. Casey, would you lead us this morning and salute to the flag? Sure. Please join me in salute to our great flag. All right. Let's use
An international law enforcement agency is due for a new
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah. If I could ask us all for just a minute, on a sad note, last night, Aldo Kneshi passed away. Cancer he'd been suffering with for the last year took him, and if we could just take a moment of silence for those of you who knew him. Wonderful man, and his brother Alan is the presiding judge here in the county. His niece works for me in my office. So if we could just take a moment. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Mike, you had some wisdom for us this morning.
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but I want to point out today is National Hamburger Day. Oh, if you're thinking about going out to eat someplace, you might want to try that. As some of the people here attended a lot of the memorial events yesterday, and I think the most attended was the one at the New Auburn Cemetery. Had quite a good turnout there, and somebody was one of the people who gave us some inspiration. And then I ended up going to the Mondu burial ground, where some of my classmates at the classroom are buried there, and we had a little ceremony there as well. So, but don't forget National Hamburger.
Thank you, Mike.
There was a recent survey done, 78% of the population believes now that going to fast food is going out for a luxury meal.
It is. Truly. Our speaker isn't here today, and I'm not sure if she's going to be here today. So if she's not, we have a little bit more time to talk and it'll be fun. But this morning, I guess we'll start up with I'm gonna throw our city manager. Under something else under the bus. How are things in Auburn?
Generally, all right. So I don't have any new budget update stuff. We're still working through all that. Budget goes to council on
9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM
950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early. 6 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:06 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI studios. Hey, we're going to head over to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, the Chamber of Commerce meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're hearing updates now from City Manager Sean Rabe.
Remember, maybe you've gone down those before, but previously there were a couple of buildings vacant. There was an old smog shop, all kinds of stuff that just kind of sat vacant. And so some of the work that she helped kind of spur on, to see all that kind of revitalization downtown. So we're hoping to get that same kind of thing, same thing here. She met 2 weeks ago with each district. So she was in Old Town, Downtown, did kind of a secret shopper thing. We just kind of walked around and took notes about different stuff. She had 4 small group interviews with like 3 or 4 people in each one, business owners and property owners, to talk about like what's working in the districts, what's not working, and then kind of synthesizing all that back together. She'll do that presentation tomorrow, actually. So tomorrow, May 29th, at the council chambers, starts at 9 o'clock. 28th. Open to the public, so if you want to come, make sure it's done. I think it'll be a really interesting presentation that she does tomorrow 9 o'clock. Let's see. I was interviewed on KCRA last week about the recent closures of several of our businesses in the city. So a lot of those things that I talked about in that interview were specific steps that we're already taking to help with our businesses. Maybe Michelle Region, for example, working closely with the businesses that we have and that we can as much as possible. I think one of the reasons we're seeing a couple businesses close is because folks are shopping online more, right? So pandemic, everybody figured out how to shop online. Instacart, you don't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. All the food delivery stuff, all that. On top top of just buying stuff at Amazon. And so what happens is that people shop online, they're not shopping locally. The local stores don't have the foot traffic to come in anymore, keep things going, and then they end up closing. And so that's a multi-layered problem, because we not only do we have businesses closing, but then we don't have tax dollars coming into the city to pay for the stuff that we have to pay for, roads, all that stuff, public safety, everything else. And then the money isn't circulating through the economy. So you've got business owners closing, city's not getting the tax money it needs, and then the money from the business owners isn't being spent back in the community. So it's a multi-tiered thing. So the only thing I can tell you about that is shop local as much as you can. I met with one of the business owners that recently closed. I talked about her, I think, last week. Clea Sanchez. She's the former secretary for the Old Town Business Association. And so we just talked about a lot of different stuff, right? Like what happened, why did you close? Almost like an exit interview with the business owner. She had some really good perspectives. And one thing that she talked about is her rent isn't an issue. She actually has pretty low rent. I know that's a problem for some of our businesses, but the rent has been increased to offset costs by landlords and all that. Her rent, that's not an issue for her. Her issue was basically foot traffic. So like her store, when you come off, is on, it's a commercial street. So commercial street right in the front there, you can see that business right when you get off on Maple. And then she still doesn't have a whole lot of foot traffic. I think people that try to figure out how to get off the freeway, go to the stop sign, and then they might forget that some businesses are there. But her biggest concern for Old Town, downtown, and it's one that I share, is there's not like a cohesive like marketing for the city, not for Old Town and downtown, but like Auburn. We have the insurance capital. We're working on this branded thing that's going to be rolled out pretty quickly, but there's not like a cohesive like marketing push to get people to come here. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be working with our staff on, and with the business improvement districts, figure out how we can do that. It doesn't do, like Old Town is marketing, downtown's marketing, rather than pulling everybody together. You don't reach as many people because you don't have as much funding to go out. So trying to get that pulled together as much as possible. Good thing is that's already started kind of a little bit with the joint mixer that they had between the two business improvement districts. And actually Highway 49 came as well. That was a couple of weeks ago as well. So it's kind of kicking off slowly, but getting everybody kind of rowing the same direction and spending their money, pooling it together is really important, I think. The other place I'm going to be looking to work with on that is the city's Economic Development Committee. So that's made up of business owners from Old Town and downtown. The Chamber's on there, Fairgrounds is on there. I think there's somebody from 49 is on there as well. Mike Carson from Gold Hill Gardens is on there. So it's got a big kind of group of people from different kind of areas. The airport's on there as well. So that's kind of the best spot I could think of to really start this kind of marketing thing and figure out how to get everybody doing the same thing, because one entity made up of all the others in one spot. So we'll be working with them to get that moving forward, hopefully quickly here. Some positive stuff. I talked a little bit about this last week. Remedy has been issued their tenant improvement permit. So Jordan and Melinda are in there now doing the tenant improvements, getting that building open. Our Encore Music closed, but it's actually reopening under new ownership and at a new location. So my understanding is one of the staff people is taking over that business, moving it somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where, but it's not closing forever. It's just closing for a little bit until they can get reopened up. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. It's interesting the different, when I was talking to Cleo, her rent's only $700. It's not very much at all. I might not be right, but it's not very much. And then you've got other rents that are $7,500, $3,500. Yeah, it's interesting. And then we met last week with the folks from Auburn Ace Hardware 3 different times with fire, building inspector, planning, economic development, full force of people there to make sure that they know what they need to do, get that building opened up as quickly as possible, and that's so they don't have any surprises on the back end when they're submitting permits and all that stuff. So working forward with them, getting them opened up quickly, hopefully. not a whole lot going on last week, and then obviously we didn't have a council meeting yesterday. Ace Hardware? They're looking to leave it at the old location? Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
I was talking to a fellow, I spoke with other folks, and said, they're not moving to a repair shop over there? That's my understanding. I know the railroad gone. Yeah, that's what I heard. Darn.
Yeah.
I worked for them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did an incredibly good job down in Lewis. I'm one of your admirers. And I saw where the Costco had the line, hundreds of people signing up to become a Costco member. But here, you might note that on Taylor Street, you have plenty of railroad property with parking.
Yeah.
Here, we kind of didn't pay much attention to parking lots for servicing like grocery outlet.
Yeah.
You'll see the little delivery van, the new driver is stuck there, that you can't get over the hump. There's no way to really get in or out of there. You've got a gas station, there's a small shop now.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the thing, you've got stables and you've got closing, and it's really difficult to negotiate, partly because people want to go apart.
Yeah.
So I would think we've gone through this in this 50 plus years I've lived here. You've got to re-educate that. Maybe have a sticker that says I'm an employee.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be parking in front of the business and then running it, moving it, so that the meter maid came around.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for the business owners if they complain about parking when their employees are parking directly in front of the store, right? The Old Town is doing a push right now to make sure that the merchants know to not have their employees parking in Old Town in the front there. The rest of it, it's just an ongoing thing, right? We need to do that. Loomis, there was a hill and then a stage on the back side over by where the tack shop used to be. And so when I was there, we had consistent problems with parking. So we actually just took the stage down and moved it. Actually, they're going to build it somewhere else, and then we just took that hillside down and created a parking lot there. So there were areas of Loomis where we could do that. Here we don't really have that because everything's been kind of built out.
Parking lot that he put in way back in the day. Caltrans was abandoning a lot of property.
Yeah.
But now it's 4 in the morning before they start.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just no monitoring, and it's a simple thing. It's a change of their attitude. It hasn't changed in 50 years later.
Yeah. Old Town is talking about it. I don't know if downtown's been working out or not. The other thing too is like, so when we were doing the road work on, I think it was on 9th Street, Magnolia, when we were doing all that paving, the big parking lot on Magnolia, I went to lunch at Monkey Cat. Let's go to park on whatnot. Well, yeah, but there's no parking anywhere. And so I went up. I didn't even know that the parking lot was at Magnolia. I ended up parking on Side Street because there's no signage for it. And so I got to work with public works to figure out, like, we don't want to oversign stuff. Sign pollution, but we do need to let people know where they should go, right? So they're not driving around on it forever. So that's one of the things we got to work on too. I need to call Mr. Persisi and his sister and see if we can get something to do. There's also that Sluice Box project that's been talking about for a while. That's Sluice Box project. It's kind of like an indoor sort of restaurant kind of project, kind of a little bit similar to the station house up there. A little bit different things with rail car and stuff. So that's come back up. The developers are working on the planning. So I need to call Robert, see if I can get some stuff worked out there before.
Cool.
Ooh, lots of questions today.
Collected from us in California. How does the state then redistribute that sales tax to people?
So it goes into the county pool. So there's this like super hard stuff. But you buy something on Amazon collects sales tax if you buy it here. That money then goes into the in Auburn, we actually did kind of a little bit more than I would imagine that we would get here, but it's actually kind of high. Loomis didn't get hardly anything because we didn't have a whole lot of sales tax generators until last year when they opened up, so they're going to get a bigger chunk and stuff kind of shift around. Roseville obviously gets a huge piece because they get some sales tax producer stuff, but it goes into the county pool, then it's redistributed out. We don't get, it's not a one-to-one, right? So it's not like you buy stuff on Amazon that we get 100% of that sales tax back here. It's diffused out, so we get a small portion of it. No, that's been open for, they opened during the pandemic, 2020. Had a great time to open a restaurant. It's called Prevents now. I'll tell you that the previous building inspector in Loomis no longer works for Loomis because that project took too long.
19 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5 AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills, 7:19 a.m. If you're just tuning in, we're listening in to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do on Tuesdays during the 7 o'clock hour. Right now, we're hearing updates from the city of Auburn from City Manager Sean Ray. And then after that, we will have updates from Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson. Let's go ahead and go back now to the meeting.
We just didn't have the revenue to spend it. So what happened was there was a budgeting issue where
It's called formatics. Here's who's talking. Here's the station. Here's what's going on. And now I'll get my breakfast.
We did that one-time high sales tax and we put that out for perpetuity as the new baseline for a sales tax. And then literally the next year, it dropped like that, almost $1 million. So we added $3 million of personnel expenses in 2 years, and which is 18 people we figured out. So we hired 18 new staff in about 2 years. And at the same time, had a drop in revenue about $1 million. There's also been there's been more sales tax decline. So we've lost about $700,000, I think, from previous estimates. I don't know how that happened. I wasn't here when it happened. I'm here to fix it. I was here to fix it. I was hired to fix it because we didn't know about it. But I'm here now. We're going to be resolving it and getting it done.
Yes, let's work on those questions. Be great.
Have to figure out how to eat that. I don't want to say the word mixed up. We all know. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically what happened. We had high-end sales tax that was assumed to last forever. It only lasted for a year, and then we based new personnel hires and other expenditures on that one spike in revenue. And so obviously you've got this revenue, this expenditures and this revenue that doesn't work out, right? It should be that way.
There's been a lot of money that the feds handed out during that period of time, which got an imaginary dollar. People had that to spend, and that went away. They didn't have that to spend it.
Yeah, I mean, so not only for the city, right? We're seeing that issue with the city, but personnel, all that stuff, but also our businesses are closed because of the same thing, right? People have money in their pocket to go spend on stuff and buy things. When that money dries up, you don't have the money anymore.
I'm paying attention to this, and I'm trying to remember what the questions are.
Another issue.
We're both trying to remember what they're supposed to be about. That's funny.
Town buying stuff that they would have did back in 2022, 2021. And so it's a multi-layered thing, right? We have less foot traffic, less money, inflation's crazy high still, but at the same time we have low unemployment, so it's hard for people to find. It's a weird kind of economy thing, and the cities, everybody is being sucked into that. I talked about on that interview, like kitchen table economics, right? Like if it costs me $15 for a loaf of bread now, that's $15 I can't go put in somewhere else and spend somewhere else, right? So people are prioritizing their spending, rightfully so, and we just need to figure out how to recalibrate what we're doing.
We're kind of seeing an equal reaction now. We're starting to get into wage inflation. Everybody's wanting more money for their wages. Well, now that will be the next one.
Yeah, it's like sooner or later the rungs run out on the ladder, right? When you fall. So I don't know what that looks like and where we're headed with that, but it is an issue. Alice commented, I saw pop up on the chat, that we also had a $300,000 PERS payment that's come due. We refinanced our PERS debt, did a PERS obligation bond, good thing. Right? So instead of paying 8% or whatever it is, now we're paying 2%, 3%, whatever that interest rate is. That was supposed to super fund us for a certain amount of years, 5 or 6, 10, whatever that was. They did it for one because first can't figure out how to do their forecasting and all that stuff. They are hiring for a chief investment officer. If you know anything about that.
I guess one of the comments in the paper was that the improvements, some of that money that we got, improvements for downtown and the connectivity into Old Town, maybe that's in jeopardy.
It's been council's given direction to reallocate part of it back to resolve the deficit that we have. So we originally had 500,000 going to downtown, 500,000 going to Old Town for them to do something economic development related with, right? Downtown decided to do a traffic study, wayfinding study to figure out how to get folks off the freeway, and then signage to get them to where they need to go. Old Town was looking at doing a kind of a placemaking thing, so creating a plaza in front of the ale house and then over in front of the old post office to kind of create somewhere for people to sit, right? Because it's not really anywhere in Old Town for people to sit and hang out. So we're reallocating some of that money from each one. We're leaving enough for the engineering and the planning to get done for the Old Town side so that we get a grant or something that we can pay for it and get it built. And then on the downtown the same way. So the studies are being done. There's no money left to basically implement it though. And so we'll look for additional funding down the road when we get there.
Any capital investments, fire trucks, electric cars, any of that stuff being put on hold for the time being, or any of that was already paid for?
I mean, we have, this upcoming year, we have a $1.9 million deficit. And so if we could put something off, we're putting it off. There's like public, like safety equipment, SCBA for fire, we can't put that off, right? We can't put vests off for police. Our radios haven't been updated on the PD side for I don't know how long, and so they're at the basically end of life where they're not going to be able to communicate with the county radio system. It's not good, so we have to get that stuff done. But unless it's we have to do this year, all that's being put on. Yeah. We have to do paving because we were required by the state to do a minimum of effort, maintenance of effort, paving, and so we're doing that because we have to do that. Otherwise, it's like stepping over nickels to pick up pennies, right? We don't spend the money on the roads that we're required to spend, and we won't get the money next year. So we have to do that this year. But anything in addition to that, we're not doing that. We did do basically 3 years of paving in a year and a half, though. So we're actually caught up pretty well on that. But most of that big expenditure stuff we're pushing on. We're also looking at new revenue sources. So we're looking at, cannabis that the council's talked about and given us direction with. We're pursuing that to try to see what's going to happen with that. We're looking at, are we going to do some sort of a TOT increase, put that on the ballot or not? I got to work through that a little bit and get that figured out. TOT for us, if we increased our TOT from 8% to 10%, which nobody here pays, because people who come to stay in a hotel don't pay it, not you. If we increase TOT from 8% to 10%, that'll raise about $250,000 of new revenue. We don't tax Airbnbs right now, so we have Airbnbs in the city, VRBOs, whatever. Those don't get, there's no TOT tax at all on those. And so that would also be included in that tax measure if we bring it forward. That's only going to raise about $90,000. I thought it would do more, but it's only about $90,000.
That's a situation where we increase the prices on the tourists. It might be being the reason to get tourists in town.
Nobody knows what the TOT percent that they pay is, though. I mean, you see the cost of the room, but nobody knows what. Do you know what the TOT rate is in Roseville? Exactly. Right? Exactly. 10%. Everybody.
What's that?
For which one, Ace? No. They've taxed it so much that the kind of market's too diluted. And so the whole thing was like, this is like a cash cow, right? People were going to make like millions of dollars on this. It's not like that anymore at all. It's quite a bit less. But it's also like anything that we can do to help increase revenue is a good thing, right? Look at that at least. Now, I don't know if council's going to go, will approve it or not. I'll look at it and think of that. So we'll see.
Well, thank you, Sean. There's more to come, right?
Yeah.
More to come.
Lots more.
Yeah. You had a very busy week.
I did, but I wanted to follow up while we're on that track. One of the other things that comes into play is during the pandemic, Placer County businesses opened sooner and stayed open longer. And so during the pandemic, we actually got a higher percentage of sales tax than we typically get because the big Disneyland and many of the theme parks and the big drivers were shut down. Many of the areas in San Francisco were shut down. So we did see that one time.
29 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:29 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to pause for just a bit to show some love to our advertisers. We will be back right after this. Ooh, I timed that.
Auburn Best Plumbing Company and Best Heating and Cooling Company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very.
I don't know if that makes you feel any better. It's the state of our world that we'd much rather shop at home online than take the time. Many of us don't have that time, and I feel guilty every time I'm there. But at 5 in the morning, where can you shop? You know, and so it's really the changing nature, and each of us have to think about that when we do our shopping. I know at the holidays or other times we drive the big shop local campaigns, but we need to think about that every day, not just on those big peaks. Yes, we do, but we do lose some to the state and their collection administration, and you know, it's a challenge. So a few things, as you all know, last Tuesday was a very long and arduous meeting for the Board of Supervisors in our rezone, consideration of the rezoning. It was a 3-2 vote in the end, with Supervisor Holmes and Gore and myself voting yes, and the other 2 voting no. We rezoned 13 sites countywide. 80% of those sites were already zoned commercial. And that played in a lot to my decision making on the 4 we did in North Auburn, that these properties were already zoned to have height of up to 45 feet and have commercial businesses. So it's not ideal. It was, I called it a Hobson's choice.
BigMountainAir.com. 32 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:32 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. It is Tuesday. It is the 7 o'clock hour, which means we are going to join back in with the Auburn Meddlers meeting right now. We are hearing updates from Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson. She's giving updates on the rezone vote that happened the other day for the Board of Supervisors. Let's join back in.
So we could look much more closely at those setbacks and see what else we could do to buffer from the residential communities. I know it's, I just was responding to an email early this morning from a person who lives at one of the sites in North Auburn, very frustrated. And I did try to remind her, you did buy next to commercially zoned property. And that is different for me than if you bought next to residential single family and now we upzoned you. So it's a change in zoning, very challenging situation. There's many factors at play. But
those are good questions. Yeah, those are it.
What we need to do for our communities based on their determination on the numbers. So trying to meet those numbers is important. They need some sort of apartment housing. We know that during the recession, since the last time, I'm sorry Carolyn wasn't here, but we haven't seen apartments and multifamily housing developed to in any amount that meets our needs throughout the state, and that's why we were set with this. But today, today we'll be considering the Cincinnati Avenue site that the county owns, the two sites out there that were talked about for the gathering and Campus and Hope, rezoning those in the Sunset area plan, and that will provide another 250 potential units. And what I tell everybody with private land near them is the state has told us they will come after the publicly owned lands and push us to have a work plan budget and pressure to get housing done on those sites. They can't force a private owner to do that, but they can. So if there's any hope, it's that it's going to take, the focus is going to be on public. I'm sorry, right now.
I think it's a great start.
Yes.
Designated for housing. You all understand the cost of building these things is pretty bizarre. But is that the county center out there? Are they going to go around and share some of this stuff?
So the numbers that we were to take over, the numbers that we had to rezone.
I don't know if we have anything missing.
Entire housing element, which is much greater number than the ones the state told us. We already had scheduled the government center for 406 additional units up there. So that's already in the count. In addition, we had to go find these other 1,219 units. So when you look at a county of our size, those are the, our share of what SACOG determined we needed to come up with. It's not easy, it is heart-wrenching to go out on sites with people and see what they're going to see in their backyard. And like I said, the only way I could vote for the ones we did in North Auburn was they were all zoned commercial as it stands today. So that made a difference. There were a couple res ag properties, residential agricultural zone properties that weren't as controversial in Granite Bay. The big one in Granite Bay that was hugely controversial at the meeting was also some commercial. And could right now today, I think it was 21 units an acre. So going to up to 30 units an acre was the decision we made. Yet very, very challenging decision. So that's that one. And I know we went from over 50% in District 5 down to 17% through this whole process. So I think we've heard the community and worked hard to make the findings to reduce our share below the 20%. And if we just divided it equally, would be ours. So we'll do the Sunset Area Plan, Master Plan today. I'm sure we'll have a lot of public input on last week's decision. There's still a lot of confusion from the public about that. I also had 2 days of TRPA meetings last week. Wednesday was a typical meeting, but Thursday we had a strategic planning session grappling with these same issues. How do we put housing in an area that has very limited growth? Less than 2% of the lots in the Tahoe Basin are left to be developed because of the constraints that were set on back in 1980. 98% of the lots are built out, and so there's 2% left, and they're primarily single-family residences. So what do you do to generate housing? Very challenging discussions there as well. And then Saturday, talking about a busy weekend, I did go over to Meadow Vista for their Trails to Poker ride, bike ride. The two groups there, the Meadow Vista Trails Association and the Open Trails Alliance, are fighting hard to preserve a lot of these trails that are along the canals and irrigation ditches that have been used for decades. But as property owners move in, they want to protect their property, and the easiest way to do that is gate off some of those trails and to fence their entire property. So I walked with the group. They've got a couple of the property owners willing to what they need my help with is with PG&E or NID to try to get those public access points continue. But beautiful trails, really wonderful areas, and we hope we can convince PG&E that this is low liability compared to other things. But the county maybe can play a role in that. And then, of course, yesterday, I think I don't know how Bonnie Potter does it all, and for all the volunteers that did all the Memorial Day events. But what a tremendous outpouring of the community, hundreds and hundreds of people there to honor those that have fallen and to hopefully keep things going for our veterans in this county. Our mobile temporary shelter is full at 51 of 51 tents occupied. We still have 4 tents available for law enforcement. And the congregate shelter is full as well at 96. The program beds occupied with the liaison beds still available. Last week, the House approved Placer County supported legislation that would exempt qualified wildfire victims in California, including PG&E fire victims from income tax on their settlement. So as they get a settlement, there would be no federal income tax on that. And just a word, you may have seen the billboards, but Placer County Animal Services is doing a big push to get animals adopted and out of the shelter to make room. This is the time of year we get a lot of abandoned animals. So, they're doing
Checkers. Where's our little Checkers?
activity on June 1st.
Where's our little dog that ran or got stolen?
And I shared with you before, you can actually check out the dogs and bring them home and try them out in your family and neighborhood. And when I was walking for the neighborhoods, I met one of the parents who was one of the family members doing it. The daughter wanted the dog, but she had allergies, and they brought it home, and it turned out. But I don't know exactly what dog you speak with. I'll find out and report back to you. But if you're interested, and they're also offering $5 options for the whole month of June. Yeah. So go do some speed dating. And then the tire, we talked about the tire amnesty program that the funded and we helped implement. We collected in Forest Hill, Meta Vista, and Auburn 1,273 tires. So great outcomes from that. And thank you to the BLM because it's a great program for our residents. And it comes from your federal tax dollars, not your local tax dollars.
If I was an odd number of tires,
I wouldn't know that. Thank you for asking that.
like 9 or 7, or like what do you think? 9?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. And then today we'll be making the final contract negotiations with our CEO, Daniel Chapney. We voted to approve him as CEO last week and then bringing back the contract today. Hopefully able to do that. Tomorrow we have a forestry tour. We'll be looking at the Applegate Shaded Fuel Break, the North Fork American River Shaded Fuel Break, and the Kearsage, is that right? Mill Firewise Community. And looking at what homeowners are doing and what we can do with that. And then CAL FIRE has an all hands meeting up in Nevada County. We'll be there and a few other things, but this coming Saturday on June 1st, if you're not speed dating, if you'd like to come to Ophir Station 182, we're going to be doing a coffee with Chief Estes and myself and talking to the Ophir community about firewise communities. So, I'm happy to answer other questions. The vacancy tax. You know, it's been discussed for a long time. People have been, ever since COVID, bringing up this concept. Vacancy taxes sound great until you figure out how you implement. How often is somebody at their house? A huge amount of money. And how do you determine if somebody's there on a weekend or not? If their kids came up to use their home. We've been as long as I lived there, 70 to 80% of the homes in my former utility district that I ran in were second homes. So when they were all full, we were beyond capacity. When they weren't full, we had very little traffic. But how do you determine? They say 6 months. If people don't use them for 6 months, there might be a handful of places like that. We used to see down in Meeks Bay, Rubicon, there'd be no water usage all winter, so we would know once we put in meters, we knew that there wasn't anything going on. But then people find tricks. If it's going to save them $5,000, they'll use their water treatment, and that's a waste of water. So the indications from the city council members and the county supervisor from that area is that this will pass. That there'll be, yeah, it's significant. So it's definitely a challenge, and those people are often paying
While managing the
tax rates. They bought the homes new and they're paying very high property tax rates. So, yeah, there has been discussion in North Tahoe, and I've asked about this. What can we do on vacant commercial properties after a certain amount of time? Is there a time, and that's what I've seen about in San Francisco and other areas, where to try to get commercial property owners to get their properties back and rented at some value, levying some penalties. But how if they've been in a process trying to get a building permit and it drags on, is that their fault? And what kind of appeals do you get there? Those are some of the ones that I've heard that have been more successful on commercial property. Both Toms had their hands up then.
Around 80, and a south wind about 6 to 12 miles.
Yeah, that first, Tom.
15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to pause to show some love to our advertisers back right after this.
2023 for many people, and especially.
They're concerned with the Canal Street approval.
Right.
And they were under the impression, as so many other people, that the county is building the building. And I said, no, it's being zoned for somebody in the private sector to come and build a house for profit, and it ain't gonna happen.
In America, please, if you haven't, let us show you why.
Plenty property to build big facilities that are high density structures. They are compliant with a requirement by the state of California for the heavy inch. and leave it at that.
We've been trying to use that word on Tom. When I met with those folks, I went.
At this time, we actually answer every call live. That number again is 916-339-7070.
13 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:47 a.m. If you're just joining in, we're listening into the Auburn well, we were just listening to some advertisements there, but we are listening for this hour to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to go back to the meeting right now. Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson taking questions from the audience. Let's join back in.
If it even happens. And that's when, by retaining our local control, the local government can ask for those sorts of, setbacks and buffer zones and vegetation that can go beyond what we currently have. I think what we have currently is too weak, and we need more of that. But we never anticipated what the state is going to make us do this rezoning versus allow us to go through a process. You had a question. Ms. Weather. Wow. Yeah. You'll keep us up on the date. Okay.
Word of the Spirit is softening, as God helps us scale back worship. It's hopefully that going up before the Lord.
Well, from the board of supervisors, you know, at least two of us have been supported from the beginning on this concept. I mean, and everything. I mean, that documentary that we just saw was phenomenal at explaining where there have been successes in our nation, where we've had full person care, and we transition people with accountability from one step to the next to the next. I think we see that the policies we've been using statewide, nationwide, have been failing, and so we need to try something different. So I'm certainly there, and I think the issue was the siting. It wasn't necessarily opposition, Tom. The concern at the time, and again, I'm not on that committee, it was supervisor board and homes that were on that committee, that the sunset, the Cincinnati Avenue site wasn't appropriate for it. With this rezoning, I think that some of this can occur there.
Layers.
Agreed. I never have fully understood it. Daniel served on that committee, so I'll put him on. It's really the cities of Rockland and Roseland.
Everybody agrees that it's needed, but it's not in their backyard. So generally, we how do you deal with that? Literally, even from board of supervisors, not my board, that's not on that group. Everybody wanted it on because that's where the services were. Even the honoring of the road county that made the sound. And I'll tell you, one of two representatives for Auburn on the homeless task force, we were okay having our fair share in Auburn. We were very much supportive of there being services in Auburn as there are. We just felt that a campus portal to the residents for South Gloucester that needed to be in their community was relevant. But it just was down to find a location. And I'll tell you, for us here in Auburn, we got really pressured by the other city councils not to vote to support the campus to vote in a specific location within somebody else's jurisdiction. So it's just kind of circular discussion and doesn't seem to go. Well, we might
You might take a look at the rezoning and see how that could be a shared campus. Depending on what we do today.
On the same line, I've been hearing people think that for stating that anything to be fairground would be an excellent place for something like that. Now, I'm not saying it is or not, that a lot of people are saying that, and perhaps was prepared for it anyway. So maybe grateful that why not? Let's see, keep it out there. Yeah.
Because the problem with the state taking it over is that we have no control and the state has all of it. And we have no say over it. That's one of the biggest issues.
As much as people don't like the board of supervisors, at least you can yell at us to our face. We can't even get them to on the sexually violent predator. They don't even come here to talk to us, right? And at least, we all know that the closest people to the communities are the ones that can really understand the concerns and make sure they get addressed, right? I mean, that's the nature versus the city level and the county level. Don't go to the state until we're giving up hope.
And Daniel, thank you for hanging in here with us. That means a lot. I heard on the news this morning, the Sacramento County is having a problem with people driving on their bike trips. And they're spending, the number I heard was $250,000.
Really?
That's more than that's bill.
Wow. Well, you know, I managed in my previous career, I managed bike trails in Tahoe City, West Shore. We had to put bollards up for the same reason. And we'd have removable bollards so our guys could get in and do the maintenance with their vehicles, but otherwise it's up and locked. People find ways, then you put boulders out, and you keep, you know, the big thing I'm hearing is e-bikes and how fast people are going on e-bikes. Yeah.
I represent that remark.
Well, you probably do what I do, which is I have an e-bike, but you know, some of these are they're like motorcycles. Sorry. They can go fast.
I got a computer and you read that computer and
Or there are different models depending on the show.
Well, see, then thank you very much, Cindy.
Sure. And if there's topics that you all want to hear about that I can help Steve.
this is pretty out there on the
Bring
road, the subdivision that across from Southern Ranch, I believe, City Palace for last time. Few things get done, the fences are starting to fall over now, the plants are all dying. It seems like a third would be ready to go.
And we're short on housing, so.
What is that? Any insight on the
I know it was on the potential rezoning for a while because of the infrastructure was already there. And it got dropped, the property owner wasn't interested, and the neighbors certainly weren't interested in seeing that happen at that site. And that's the last I've heard, so I'll have to check and see if anybody from planning has had any pre-applications or meetings.
And then I guess through the shopping center next to Target and all that, property in there, everything's on hold pretty much. I suspect if you're building a shopping center, you're checking your business model to find out if it's even a viable option.
Well, with interest rates and construction costs where they're at, we're not seeing many projects move forward. That's the other thing I've tried to share with folks that were concerned about
You know, are you going to get the traffic in there?
Yeah.
Or the shops?
Right.
That place on New Earth has been in process for 30 years. I mean, first it was just a lot, but they had lots cut.
Yep.
And they
I'll read that when I have a chance here. It looks like they're going to stop at any point.
Their permit going.
I guess.
That's a game that we see played all over the county. Put in some footings one year, and then I don't, but I can find out. Public record.
I think it probably was out of time.
Yeah. They probably are.
Well, with that, thank you all very much. It's been a great week. We're done.
And 3 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:57 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. You were just tuning in. We were listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're hearing updates from City Manager Sean Rabe and also Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson, who was giving us updates on all the county, taking questions from our audience there. A little bit different day, I guess. You just never know. I guess the guest speaker who was supposed to be there, because normally the city and the county take the first half hour of the meeting, and then there's a special guest speaker that takes the second half hour. And I guess maybe some signals got crossed. Today's guest speaker, whoever that was, I'm not exactly sure who it was going to be. They never said. Didn't show today. Maybe got some signals crossed there. Is it one of those days where you're going, man, you know, I'm pretty sure I had something to do today, but you know what? I don't have anything on the calendar. Must not be. And then I'm sure somebody somewhere is going to wake up at 2 a.m. That usually happens to me, and wakes up and goes, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be at the, wherever I was supposed to be. And isn't that the most panicky feeling where your heart skips a beat? You're like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to be somewhere. What must these people think of me now? Now that I've completely shirt, one of the things that I was supposed to be doing today. But hey, that's all right. That's as we're going throughout today. It's all good, as we say. You know, we've got there's bigger fish to fry. It's all good. And if the sun doesn't rise tomorrow, then we've got bigger problems on our hands. So as we're getting ready for today, I hope your day is going good and that you are getting ready to start your day off on the right foot today. If today is your birthday, by the way, happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have just a fantastic day today. You share a birthday with some people that you might have heard of. Jim Thorpe, American decathlete, football player, and coach. He passed away in 1953, but was born on this day in 1888. Let's see, Rudy Giuliani. Well, we've all heard of him. American lawyer and politician, born on this day in 1944. Jake Johnson, American actor, born on this day in 1978. So we got a few famous folks on there. Tony Pastor, American impresario, variety performer, and theater owner. I have never heard of this guy. Passed away in 1908. Born on this day in 1837. Pausing now for station identification. Back after this.
FM 104.5 K283CN Auburn and AM 950 Auburn.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, May 28th. It is right smack dab at the top of the hour, 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5. AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI studios here in downtown Auburn in the State Theater building. Gang, looks like it's going to be a good looking day out there. We are in that in between now of spring and summer where start out wearing a light jacket this morning. I know it's going to be short sleeves not too long after. So as you're getting ready to go out today, if you haven't been outside yet, just make sure you actually might even be able to be out in short sleeves now. My wife and I had a few days off. And by off, I mean out sick. I was traveling 2 weeks ago, and then last week got knocked down with the cold/flu that I got while traveling, which is, I guess, I don't know. Should I just wear, when I go on an airplane, should I just wear a mask now? It's acceptable now. I was thinking about it. One of my coworkers showed up sick, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be sitting next to you on a plane. There's going to be recycler. I should have known. I should have known it was coming, that I was going to catch this thing that they had. They said that they felt better, but I'm gonna full on point fingers. I'm gonna name names. Well, I won't name names, but because it doesn't mean anything to you anyway. But should I just start wearing a mask on a plane now, just so I don't have to get sick again and miss multiple days of work? Be done, because I was thinking, man, before I got this sickness, I thought, oh man, just to be sick and just have a couple days taking a nap would be great. No, it's not fun. You don't want to be sick because then you're not sleeping. You're uncomfortable. You're miserable the whole time. So glad to be back at it. Glad to be back here with you in the mornings. There's something to be said to having a normal routine. I like having the routine. I like the routine of the day. So as we're getting started with our day today, I hope you have a great day today. Here's a quote from one of the birthday boys today, and I read this at 6 a.m. And the quote is, he's a guy who gets up at 6 a.m. regardless of what time it is. Or a guy who starts work at 6 a.m. regardless of what time it is. That's from Lou Duva. Now, I've never heard of Lou Duva, but he was born on this day in 1922. American boxer, trainer, and manager. Died in 2017. Should I know that name? Is there a connection to... No, that's not. That's Rocky is not a real story. I'm thinking, was he Rocky's manager? No. Anyway, Lou Duva, American boxer, trainer, and manager, born on this day in 1922. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. Hope all of your birthday wishes and dreams come true today. As we're thinking about today is Hamburger Day. It is also Brisket Day, and also in a bit of an irony, it's also World Hunger Day. So if you're thinking about, hey, what's for dinner? Maybe we should have some hamburgers. I was texting back and forth with my wife, and she's like, hey, who's got plans to eat hamburgers today? So we could do it, and we'd have to barbecue. And I haven't used the barbecue in a while, actually. This is a great excuse to dust off the grill, get out there, get it fired up again, get some hamburgers going. So maybe some ideas for you as you're thinking about Hamburger Day today. Also, it's World Hunger Day. So kind of in an ironic, these two things fall on the same day. So maybe think about donating to a local food bank near you. I know we've got several around our areas here in Placer County. So think about maybe donating to the food bank. I know a lot of stores that you go into, there's opportunities to put food in there or give a little bit back to the food bank. So those that might have some hunger issues in our area, and there are several who are food insecure, would encourage you to think about those today on World Hunger Day and make a donation if you can. All right, we need to find out what our weather is looking like today. For that, we're going to go over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking for our weather today?
It'll be in the low 50s overnight, mostly clear, very light winds, if any. The dry, sunny weather is going to last into Wednesday and Thursday. It'll be averaging in the low to mid 80s each afternoon, and it'll be up near 90 by Friday with mostly.
All right, I'm going to try and go into the first segment of America's First News because it's just boring and a bummer.
Drivers, use caution, courtesy, and common sense when operating any motorized vehicle. You could save a life and a lifetime of regret. This message is brought to you by the Cookie Tree, serving our community with excellence and pride. They're located at 441 Bridge Street, Suite A in Yuba City. For information, call them at 530-673-1246. 530-673-1246. That's the Cookie Tree, on the air reminding everyone to please drive safely this spring. Check out the Garden Goddesses here on the Voice of the Foothills, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. All it takes, Erling Freeman and Cindy Davis will bring you up to speed on all the latest news and help you start It's the Garden Goddesses, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950. Join Frank and his friends, Sandy, Dee, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard, Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
6 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:06 a.m. Coming up, we've got some stories here for you. Some stats around, it's National Hamburger Day, so we've got to have some stats around hamburgers. Also, full summer effects, some stats around hot dogs, and how much hot dogs are consumed. How many hot dogs are consumed during the summers here in America? The stats will shock you. Maybe not. Maybe you'll be, yeah, that tracks. Off to a commercial break here, and we'll be back right after this. Going for it. Trying to talk some more. We'll see what happens.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans, thanks to our donors and supporters. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
When your mind creates an image, it's vivid. When your mind imagines a smell,
The fridge, already.
it's as enticing as being in the kitchen. And when your mind interprets a sound, you're standing there watching the action. Radio, the medium that works with your mind. Radio paints the picture. Radio touches the senses. Radio can constructs the vision you never see. When radio is used creatively, effectively, it brings sight, sound, and feelings to everyone. Use radio for your message. There's no better way to get the word out. Call this station for details. On radio, the medium that works with your mind.
8 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:08 a.m. Coming up in a little bit here, our next segment. It isn't in our next segment. Yeah, we'll have your Tuesday trainer tip from Brad from CAC Fit. Brad's going to give us a little trainer tip every Tuesday. This is the first Tuesday that we can actually do it on a Tuesday, as I have been out the last couple of Tuesdays. This last week, we did it on a Thursday. But thanks to Brad over at CAC Fit for giving us our trainer tip of the day on this Tuesday. So we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But before we went to the break there, where we were talking about today is National Hamburger Day. And who doesn't want a bunch of facts about hamburgers at 8 o'clock in the morning when you're just thinking, I'm just trying to figure out what to do for breakfast. I don't really want to think about hamburgers yet. But we're going to do it because this is our time to do it. The hamburger business is a $73 billion business. There are over 50,000 burger joints located across the United States. Approximately 7.5% of all U.S. restaurants are burger joints. That makes sense. That makes a ton of sense with all the places that you go on every corner that you see. Isn't that when we think of fast food, isn't that our go-to? When we think about trying to find something to eat I just want a burger. Or, you're on the road, you're like, yeah, this food looks kind of weird, but I know I can get a burger pretty much how I want it, and it's going to be pretty solid pretty much everywhere I go. Now, this is probably as a shock to no one. California has the highest number of burger joints. Second is Texas. Third is Florida. Fourth is Ohio. Fifth is Illinois. My cousin, who lives native California, moved to Tennessee. He's been living there in Tennessee for about 2 years. We have a group thread that all of us cousins are in that we chat about. And she said, "Oh, hey, we're getting an In-N-Out here in Tennessee in not too long." And I, wait, what? And now I know that In-N-Out, it was a California thing. We got to claim it for a long time, and everybody's so excited about it. But now apparently In-N-Out is going national. It's not just in, I think it went to Texas, Arizona, I think, and then it went to Texas. Basically, I think what it's doing is it's following all of the Californians that are leaving. So where are they going? They're going to Texas. They're going to Tennessee. There's a lot of Californians going to Tennessee. And one of my friends that lives up in Idaho, in Boise, In-N-Out had their first In-N-Out open up there. This is a couple months ago. This must have been 2 or 3 months ago. In-N-Out opened, the first one up there in Boise. Actually, I think it's the first one in Idaho, period. 8 hours. The wait to get to In-N-Out, and I think that was just the drive-through, was 8 hours. My friend up there, he lives not too far away from it. He said it opened in an area. The closest comparison we would have, he's originally from Auburn here in Meadow Vista. He said the closest comparison we have probably is the Fountains down in Roseville. It's one of those open outdoor shopping centers. He's like, just picture you're at the Fountains, and basically they just created lines like a Disneyland-esque with traffic cones just weaving back and forth around and around this big old huge parking lot, and people were waiting for 8 hours to get an In-N-Out burger. And he hasn't had an In-N-Out. I mean, every time he comes back and visits family here, he'll get In-N-Out. But he's like, I haven't had one for a long, long time. And he said, I thought about it. He said, I thought about it. I could just take my laptop. I could just use my hotspot on my phone and just work and sit in line for 8 hours at In-N-Out. And I'm like, dude, I could probably go and buy In-N-Out and probably ship it to you faster than it's going to take for you to get in line, get there, and wait for that. And also, here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I know the restaurant's right there. Even if it's not open, like you're sitting there for 8 hours. You got to go to the bathroom. I mean, I guess you run inside and go to the bathroom, but what are you going to do for 8 hours? Do people really not know that much about In-N-Out where they have to think, like, I absolutely have to try this? Wait for the crowds to go down. My goodness gracious. McDonald's, here we go. Going back to the stats. McDonald's buys over 1 billion pounds of hamburger meat per year. That is absolutely incredible. And from the Morning Brew, talking about hot dogs, about 38% of yearly hot dog sales take place during this season right now, and that season being Memorial Day yesterday through Labor Day. 30 of hot dog sales, with 10% in July And LA was the top hot dog consuming city in terms of pounds sold over the full year last year. New Yorkers still spend the most on dirty water dogs, though. They shell out $111.4 million compared to LA's number 2 at $91.8 million. We consume 818 hot dogs per second each summer. That's 7 billion hot dogs that are consumed between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Holy smokes, that is a lot of hot dogs. So there's your hot dog and hamburger trivia there for you as we're getting started with our day. All right, we're coming back here now. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, hanging out in the morning, 6 to, let's say, 8:30-ish a.m. because we finish out the hour with America's First News and the O'Reilly Report. Now, as I've been teeing up here, starting on Tuesdays now. Well, I actually started it on Thursday because I've missed the last couple of Tuesdays. But we are going to try and get into a routine now. We have got your Tuesday trainer tip, partnering with Brad over at CAC Fit. Brad's just putting together these little trainer tips for us as we're thinking about getting out there, moving, exercising, especially as the weather, it's getting warmer, it's lighter and longer. My wife and I have been going on walks in the evening now with Kelpie, the little guide dog that we're raising here with our kiddos here, and just getting out there and enjoying some exercise. So now it is time for our Tuesday trainer tip from Brad at CAC Fit. Brad, go ahead and take it away.
Hey everybody, this is Brad from CAC Fit here with your Tuesday training tip here on KAHI Radio. If any of you are struggling or feel intimidated with the weight room, please ask for help. Whether it's an employee or another member of the gym, for the most part, everyone is very helpful in my experience. I've been doing this almost 20 years, and most people are very helpful if you just ask. If you have any questions with how to set up a machine, don't be embarrassed. We've all been there before, and someone had to teach us as well. So no matter where you are in your fitness journey, just know there's others who are there with you, and we're all here to help, especially here at 2514 Bell Road at CAC Fit. If you want to stop on by, we'll answer any questions you have. All right. Have a great day. This was your Tuesday training tip here at KAHI.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia. Join me for my live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions right here on KAHI. On my show, we tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies.
Dr. Dahlia, weekdays from 9 to noon here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Join me each weekday morning right here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:16 a.m. Taking a look outside at our traffic right now. Looking pretty good, actually. We've got 80 eastbound and westbound going up or down through Auburn, up and down the mountains. Looking pretty clear right now. 65 southbound coming in from Lincoln over to I-80, slowing down around Pleasant Grove Boulevard, as we would expect this time of day. 80 westbound over to I-5, looking pretty good right now, but Cap City Split heading down into Sacramento, Cap City Freeway, slowing down. I-5 northbound and southbound slow, as we would expect. Probably a lot of folks going out to the airport. Also, a lot of folks going into Sacramento right now. 50 eastbound and westbound. 50 westbound is slowing down as you're coming near Watt Avenue if you're coming into Sacramento. Otherwise, looking good up and down the hill, all through El Dorado Hills, even going up into the mountains there. Looking at Highway 49, if you're going across the canyon right now, taking a look there, no real traffic blocks or any conditions going on in the canyon. So if you're coming from Placerville to Auburn or the other way, it looks like you've got some clear sailing through the canyon. Back with more right after this.
Do you know of a senior neighbor, friend, or family member going through? Perhaps you know of a senior.
I think that went well.
Of joy, or a senior that needs help overcoming a conflict they are facing. Silver Wishes of Placer County may be able to help. Silver Wishes grants wishes to help seniors overcome a challenge, help break up the monotony of chronic illness, bring joy to those suffering from loneliness, or fulfill a bucket list item for someone facing a terminal diagnosis. Wish recipients must be residents of Placer County and at least 65 years old. For more information and to nominate a senior for a wish,
go to www.silverwishes.org. That's www.silverwishes.org. Silver Wishes, impacting our seniors one wish at a time.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, probably roll your eyes. We didn't get to it in the 7 o'clock hour like we normally do because of the Auburn Meddlers meeting like we do on Tuesdays. You can send me yours, your daily dad joke, live at KAHI.com. That's email, LIVE at KAHI.com. Or call me 530-885-3565. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here at the bottom of the hour with your daily dad jokes. Guess I should find some daily dad jokes now. Exercise, exercise, everybody come along and exercise, exercise. Exercise, everybody come along and exercise. Do 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 do.
In their first trilateral meeting in more than 4 years. It is highly unusual for the pipeline is engaging in high-level diplomacy in the region. The launch drew rebukes from the North's neighbors because
25 religious centers or organizations. And we went between 9 and 5, Monday to Friday, an ironic observation came to shows. This thought exercise started
in response to his inauguration. The delegation met Taiwan President Li Ching-te as China regards Taiwan as a renegade province that must come under its control by force if necessary. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCall told NBC News the lawmakers visited the island despite China warning them against it.
Because we support Taiwan. We support freedom and democracy against dictatorships like the one that's very close to where we're sitting right now. The People's Republic of China has been very aggressive, as you saw. A letter warning me not to come here, that it would be in violation of one China policy. I would argue what they have done is violating one China policy. And then you saw the armada of ships and airplanes, one of the largest ones we've seen, surrounding the island, basically executing their war games and preparing for what they would do in the event of a war, all because of democracy. It's like a protest, a military exercise game to protest democracy because they don't like the fact that President Lai won fair and square in a peaceful way through democracy.
So how concerned should Americans be about this aggression? It seems as though China's doing this on a more regular basis where they're moving into areas that are controlled by Taiwan. There's this looming threat that seems to exist at all times, but yet they've yet to take that step of a formal invasion. Is that something that is imminent? Is it inevitable? Or do you think it's still something that can be headed off by Taiwan or in some circumstances just avoid it from happening?
Well, it's something that national security experts like myself think about every day. How can we stop war? How can we stop aggression and conflict in war? And deterrence is really the best way to do this. You have to get inside Chairman Xi's head, who wants this reunification, he calls it, of Taiwan. And now, since he did not win the election, that you can see he's not happy about, and doing the protests with all the warships. Now, okay, what's my next move here? And his legacy is built into this. I think he thinks he's like Chairman Mao, and he would like to take back the island. But we have to demonstrate that the consequences would be way too severe. The risk would outweigh the advantages and any reward from doing that. And the first thing is, we got to get these weapons in.
The U.S., like most countries, does not have formal diplomatic ties with Taiwan, but is bound by its own laws to provide the means to defend itself. The Chinese government expressed long opposition to the congressional visit, saying it undermined China-U.S. relations and peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, referring to the waterway between China and Taiwan. Now to the sporting world, where Grayson Murray's parents said Saturday that their 30-year-old son took his own life just one day after he withdrew from a PGA Tour event. The family asked for privacy and that people honor Murray by being kind to one another. A two-time PGA Tour winner, Murray spoke in January after winning the Sony Cup in Honolulu about turning the corner in his life, his golf, and battles with alcoholism and mental health. He passed away Saturday morning. PGA Tour golfer Peter Malnati gave an emotional interview to CBS.
And then something like this happens, and you realize it's just a really hard day, because you look at Grayson and you see in him like someone who is, visibly outwardly struggled in the past, and he's been open about it. And you see him kind of get his life back to a place where he's feeling good about things. It's just so sad. I was with him yesterday, and he's playing great. Like, his game is so good. He's so good at golf. Maybe if I tell a story about it, that'll help me get some composure. This is a really telling story. So he played. He'll be the first to admit that college wasn't real good for him. It didn't work out great. But he spent one semester at Wake Forest, and he played for Jerry Haas there. Jerry Haas coached. He coached Bill, coached Webb Simpson, coached Al Torres, among many others. And I got to talk to Jerry a handful of years ago. I was at their practice facility the week of the Wyndham Championship at Wake Forest. I was talking to Jerry, and he told me, he said I had Bill come through here, I had Webb, I thought he was the most talented player to ever set foot on this campus. I only got to keep for one semester, and it was Grayson Murray. And so he said that, and Grayson, like, he put that talent on display this year. It was really, really fun to see. And then, just to know that he's not going to be doing that anymore I think it's a huge loss for all of us on the PGA Tour. It's a huge loss for our fans. It's a huge loss for, in a time like this, you realize that as much as we want to beat each other, as much as we want to be competitive, we really are. We're one big family, and we lost one today, and that's terrible.
PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan said he spoke with Murray's parents about halting play at Colonial, and said they insisted the golf tournament continue. Murray said a year ago, everybody has their battles. Sometimes people are able to hide them and function, and sometimes you're not. I think our society now is getting better about accepting that it's okay not to be okay. I've embraced that mentality. I'm not ashamed that I go through depression and anxiety. Turning to the economy now, and Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller says it's possible that a key underlying interest rate that influences monetary policy may rise in the future after years of declines, but it's too soon to say. Waller's warned that the U.S. fiscal path could put upward pressure on the neutral rate. During a speech at the Reykjavik Economic Conference in Iceland, a key factor in that decline has been higher demand for Treasury debt.
Deficit spending and the federal debt have been increasing since the 1990s. I believe the factors increasing demand that I just reviewed have outstripped the increase in supply over the past few decades, leaving R-star lower. But if the growth in the supply of U.S. Treasuries begins to outstrip demand, this will mean lower prices and higher yields, which will put upward pressure on R-star. It is probably not news to many people that the U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. The latest outlook from the Congressional Budget Office paints a challenging picture of the future, with debt expected to grow at an unprecedentedly high rate for an economy at full employment and not involved in a major war. All of these financing pressures may contribute to a rise in R-star in coming years, but only time will tell how large a factor the U.S. fiscal position will be in affecting R-star. Looking ahead, as a policymaker, it is important to understand what is driving any movement in R-star to justify using it to guide my policy deliberations.
R-star is the interest rate that neither stimulates nor restricts the economy when inflation is at the U.S. Central Bank's target. Waller didn't comment on monetary policy or the interest rate outlook in his remarks.
Breaking news first, America's First News. We'll be right back.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long.
Okay, these are some good dad jokes.
Open, relaxing the blood vessels.
Real solid.
By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our ultimate nitric oxide
Dr.
can
Mitch.
easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Who are these quacks?
In today's troubled world, our USA Armed Forces stand ready to protect you, your family, and our American way of life. Veterans return to civilian life, they deserve your recognition and support. You can help put vets to work by donating your car, truck, or van to Patriotic Hearts. Your donation will directly support programs to help vets find jobs or even start their own business. Donate today for fast, free pickup of your vehicle, running or not. Operators are standing by to answer questions about making a tax deductible. Find out how you can make a difference in the life of the United States veteran. Call 800
20 seconds, Adam. 20 seconds.
80 for 24-hour response.
It's a clock, man. I can't change it. I know.
800.
Well, now it's 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Good gracious. Some people's kids.
209 4580.
Look at the pines. And good Tuesday morning to you. It is Tuesday, May 28th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently, it is 66 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today, a very nice 82 degrees. All right, it is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh. Probably, if I was a betting man, roll your eyes. Had a bunch come in here. It is National Hamburger Day. So if you're looking for a dinner idea, hamburger days, it might be time to dust off the old grill, get the charcoal out, start getting some hamburgers. So all of these are hamburger theme related dad jokes. Are we ready? Here we go. Why did the hamburger go to the gym? To get better buns. Should tell that to Brad from CAC Fit. I bet you'd love that one. What do you call a burger that's always late? Slow cooked. All right. Why did the tomato? Well, maybe this isn't hamburger related, but it's picnic related. Here we go. Why did the try it? Producer Adam, let's try that again. Here we go. Why did the tomato turn red at the barbecue? Because it saw the salad dressing. That's a good one. Why did the tomato turn red at the barbecue? Because it saw the salad dressing. Ayo. What do burgers use to fix their houses? Hamburger helper. There we go. What do you call a cold burger? A burger. Oh, yeah, that kind of got it growing there. How do burgers solve problems? They meet in the middle. No, Adam, it's spelled M-E-A-T, like meat. There we go. And those have been your daily hamburger dad jokes for this Tuesday, May 28th. You can send me yours, like some sent me these, at live@KAHI.com, or you can call me 530-885-3565. Back with your weather right after this.
Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris along with Matt Ray in America's First.
Those were funny.
Get all the
Those were good.
news, weather, traffic, and local events
Thank you.
can handle, plus a
Healthy dose of daily dad jokes.
Chris
in the morning with Matt Ray, 6 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early. Weather.
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today. Temperature going around 80 and a south wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. It'll be in the low 50s overnight, mostly clear, very light winds, if any. The dry, sunny weather is going to last into Wednesday and Thursday. You'll be averaging in the low to mid 80s each afternoon, and it'll be up near 90 by Friday with mostly sunny skies. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
33 minutes past the top of the hour here at FM 104.5 AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. That's right. And it is 33 minutes. I already said that. Producer Adam, I just said that. It's 8:33 a.m. Gang, that is going to do it for me. Going to wrap up here. We'll finish out the hour with America's First News and the O'Reilly Report. Also, don't forget about Mary Jane's show, Pop Talk. How about that? Not Pop Off. Pop Talk. That's going to be on Saturdays from 5 to 7 a.m. Need to get my bearings here. And Sunday from 9 to 11 p.m. So Mary Jane, see if we can chat with her again this Friday. Been missing the last couple of Fridays, missing talking to Mary Jane. So we'll have all that. Lots more coming up this week. We're going to go ahead and sign off for now. As always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a fantastic rest of your day, gang. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. All sort of discombobulated there.
Good morning on this Tuesday, May 28th. May 28th, 34 minutes past the hour.
Woo!
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday that a quote tragic mistake was made in an Israeli airstrike.
Time to sign into the company meeting.
Palestinians, and according to local officials, killed at least 5 people. The strike only adds to the surging international criticism Israel's faced over its war with Hamas, even with its closest allies expressing outrage at civilian deaths. Israel insists it adheres to international law as it faces weak demanding.
Recording in progress. Middle of breakout sessions right now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add you guys to a breakout session, and you guys will just be in a breakout session together. So let me go ahead and do that. You will actually, let's see.
Okay, gotta go. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Though it is opposed to a major offensive, the administration